Made it out to this property. I'll do a quick interview here, but I've really got to make it to the stand. It's opening day. I had games that I went to for my nieces this morning, and I knew this buck. He'd been showing up in here mornings and evenings both, and I knew with the warm-up that we had today that he's been showing up for a shorter and shorter period of time every morning after shooting light. And this morning he was only in here for like 3 minutes after legal shooting time. So I'm hoping with the higher temperatures, although I don't really like the higher temperatures, that it's made him come in later this morning, and he's going to come in earlier this evening, because he's also only been giving me about 15 minutes on camera before legal shooting time is out in the evening. So I'm going to get everything gathered up here. I just sprayed down everything, and I'll do more of an interview and tell you the setup that we got going on here. It's a really unique piece of property. Been hunting it for 4 years, and I've had my rear end handed to me for 4 years here, but maybe tonight's the night that's going to change. You can hear all the highway traffic. Highway's just like quarter mile as a crow flies up and down a holler that way. Walking in, that's brand new. First rub that I've seen of the year. And that's happened within the last day right there. Maybe 2 days max. I just busted out a little 8-point that was like 30 yards from my deer stand. Scared the crap out of me. He was in that fall down right there. You can see there's the feeder, the spike point. Set up. As you can tell, there's a high amount of traffic that you'll probably hear all night, because a quarter mile that way is a road that's used heavily. And in northwest Arkansas this weekend there's some kind of bike rally, and the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue was canceled, so the local town of Rogers ended up putting something on, so a lot of them drive through here. This property, like I said, has handed me my butt for 4 years. It's a hard piece of property. It's a decent sized property, almost 100 acres. But there's a couple houses on it, shop buildings, recreational area, tennis courts, hiking trails. When it comes to hunting acres on this 100 acres, there's not very much of it. And when you do get these ridge tops, it's nothing but rock. There's hardly any vegetation down low. There is some vegetation starting because a tornado came through a few years ago and really damaged a lot of trees, which promoted a lot of undergrowth. But we've got the lake right here adjoining this property, and these hollers are steep. I'm talking from where I'm at down to the lake is probably only a couple hundred yards, but it's hundreds of feet down. So it's a really hard piece of property to hunt. Also, because it doesn't hold very many deer, and there's urban property all around here, subdivisions that a lot of deer don't come from. Early season's the time to hunt it if you've got local deer. And we've got a good buck in here. But these bucks, after early season, when they start breaking up, and especially as we get to pre-rut, they just leave. They go kind of more south to the bigger pieces of land, and there's public land even further down south. So they just kind of get off here, and there's really essentially no deer to hunt. So we do have a feeder up on this property. We have to feed the deer. There's no other way to really get them patterned on this property. As you can tell, there's no guarantee that you're going to kill when you have a feeder. It's been 4 years and I've not even tried to shoot a buck on this property yet. I mean, I've hunted a few, but there's just been no shot opportunities. So this buck has a really nice framed rack. He's really a tall, tined buck, typical of a mature buck here in the Ozarks. We've watched him for a few years. He's probably, I'd say, in the ballpark of 4.5, maybe a little bit older. It's hard to tell on these bucks. He's grown out to a lot of his potential. He's got really good tine length. He's got good height. Doesn't have a whole lot of mass, but that's typical of here in these Ozark Hills. So when I get settled in, we will see something tonight. I can almost guarantee it. But will it be the shooter? We'll see. Hunting the hills sometimes is not easy. Just had 2 bucks come up. I don't know if it was a shooter or not. The wind has been hitting me almost perfect the majority of the time, but every once in a while it changes almost 180 degrees and it's out the other way. It's crazy that I can hear anything over these motorcycles, but I could hear some crunching and the wind switched and it blew right to them. I don't know what they didn't like or if it was just vastly different, but normally I'd never get rid of buzz like that with a nose jammer. But I'll wait it out, see if they come back, or see if the buck comes from where I think he's coming from, and that's from that way. Those came from back behind me. I hate hearing them blow.
Alright guys, well I'm back to the safety of the truck. It got crazy there for a little bit. I was absolutely covered up with deer. You know, right off the bat there, it was really, honestly, unusual. I had a deer blow at me. I had 2 bucks blow at me. I could just barely see the racks over the hill. The wind has shifted. I'd put the nose jammer wax stick, which I've had really good results with, and put it up on the tree, and it was blowing down that way, and they didn't like it at the time. Well, you give it, you know, 30-40 minutes, they came back up out of there and had no problem with it a little later on, and neither did any of the other bucks that came back up that way. But finally got the wind to shift the way I wanted to out of the east, and it was blowing perfect. And at one point I think I had 6 bucks and 2 does within 30 yards around me. It was absolutely insane. I mean, circling me. It didn't matter where my wind was going to go. If they were going to smell me, they were going to smell me. So that was pretty cool. Got to see sparring. Got to see a couple of the bucks push the does around in there pretty hard. But the one buck, the Hold'em High buck that I was wanting to see in there, he did not show up. I knew it was going to be a gamble because he's been showing up like 3 minutes before legal shooting light ends, and I waited till well after legal shooting light, and the deer kind of had cleared out of there. I did a coyote call and I did some blowing afterwards. It's just what I like to do. It's like to alert them that there's probably a coyote in there and blow them out with a coyote call versus me climbing out of the deer stand or making some kind of human noise and associating that with it. So made sure they were clear out of the area, got out. I'm going to head back home. Dad actually shot a doe tonight in the candy shot plot. It's his first doe on the property, or deer on the property this year, so that's pretty cool. And only a couple days into season, but he's already cutting that thing up. So I got to get some of the gear together, wrap up, get out of this place, and I don't know, I might come back in the morning. I might wait till tomorrow evening to come back in. Let me know what you guys think about the 8-point that came in. He's probably about 115 inch or so, that I would guess. Here in the Ozarks in Arkansas, that was hard to pass up, especially with the bow, but the big one is in there. So let me know if you would have shot him. Some of you guys would have shot a lot of the other bucks too, and I would have too back in the day, but I try to ante up myself as much as I can. But still, regardless, fun hunt. So yeah, comment down below. Please give a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on our social media accounts at the end of the video. And until next time, have a better than average day. Won't you take a little